once again, welcome back to the plot. Okay, right, well, good afternoon everybody. Once again, welcome back to the plot. I know it's been a long time, but my old body's taken a bit of a passion the last couple of years. Accident after accident, and last year wasn't any better either. I got a couple of videos off in the summertime, but I wasn't feeling myself. And after I tackled the big job down home, the back garden fence, that really put the kibosh on us. So I ended up in Freeman Hospital in Newcastle for a week. I spent a great time up there. I had a couple of good lads up there, one from Berwick and one from the northeast here. Had a great laugh for them. Big shout out to the surgeons up at Freeman and the nurses. Fantastic hospital. But as I say, it's taken us a few months to recover, but I'm back and I'm raring to go. I haven't started any heating on this year, so that's why I never bothered with any early videos from January onwards, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. We're all feeling the pinch this year, so I've knocked right back on the heating, but that's not to stop us from growing what we like, what plants. You just got to look in the shops, the tomatoes and the price of vegetables. It just goes to show you, you know, if you just carefully plan everything, you can. You've got a nice little garden. You can grow your vegetables most of the year round that you enjoy, even the cold ones, your parsnips, your sprouts, your pot leeks, and all of them have rocketed up with just a little bit of patience and a little bit of time, and we'll take you through it step by step like I always do, and we'll show you how we like to grow ours. I mean, we're lucky we've got two allotments here, me and Roger. We've got 3 big greenhouses, or 1 big one, 2 big polytunnels, and of course these 2 glass greenhouses that we added last year onto the top end here, which I'm busy filming in at the moment. But I will get on home. I'll finish this video off. This is just a quick one just to say welcome back everybody. Thanks for all your comments. I know that there's a few of you being worried why I haven't been posting. As I say, I took a really bad turn last year, and but I'm back on my feet now. I'm just taking my time, not too much. I keep forgetting I'm getting a little bit older, but they say age is all in the head, but proven wrong to me last year. But anyway, I cracked on in here because it's the 1st of March today. Happy St. David's Day, everybody. And what I like to do, I'm cold sowing. I'm not using any heat whatsoever. Now I've got a little heat bed down home, which you know on my 8x6 at home, I've got a little cable runs through the sand on top of my heat bed, and that's the only thing I'm heating. And that's just giving a little bit of bottom heat. But in saying that, all I've got on there at the moment is my dahlias. I've got my dahlias on there, and just put them on the heat. I've got a few packets of seeds like lobelia, petunias, who need the early heat, or just that little bit of frost-free protection. I mean, when you're talking about frost-free protection, this is just a cold greenhouse up here, and there's nothing better than these plastic tops. Absolutely fantastic, you know, and it gives you a couple of degrees. Better. In other ways, to line the inside your greenhouse, polythene, you can do that quite easy. And it's just to give you that couple extra degrees, because we have had some cold nights. At the moment, it's pouring down the side there. I've just put it up. I've just put a couple of trays of my own compost. Of course, you know what it is. It's a 3-2-1 mix, and because I'm sowing marigolds. Now, marigolds, dahlia seed, anything like that, any big seed, I sow my own compost. When we get out to talking about lobelia, petunias are a little bit more finicky, so I use a peat-based multi-compost with perlite or sharp sand, nice and light. As I say, I'll explain further on as we go on in the planting series. But this is my own mixture. It's 3-2-1. It's 3 of homemade compost. We actually emptied 2 bins last month, me and Roger, and it was black. It was 24-month-old, just on 2-year-old. It was absolutely lovely. Now I mixed 3 parts of that to 2 parts of just ordinary compost. I get the clover compost from the allotment society, and 1 part sharp sand, and then added to that a couple of handfuls of bone meal, bloodfish and bone, anything like that, and that makes a fantastic mix. That'll grow anything with all. We're potting off and everything with that. Go back on some of your videos and I'll show you how to make the mix. But for me, for today's sowing anyway, I want to get a few trays of marigolds in, I want to get the dahlias in, but the dahlias will go, as I say, the dahlias are going down home in just that little bit of heat, like some marigolds and stuff like that. I've got Missing Brian to mum, Livingston Daisy, they can go in now. Same mixture, but what I like to do with them, I like to put 3 rows in. I'll show you in next week's video. Put a bit cane in, just mark 3 rows and go along the rows, because them plants, when you're pricking off, I like to prick off into little bunches, and they're much easier to put in your next size pots up. Whereas marigolds, you know how I put my marigolds off, these will just grow on and grow on and grow on till they're a really good height. I don't prick anything off on a tiny little 2-leaf. I never bother with anything like that. It's wasted time. Let them grow on, let them get their roots in, let them get a nice size, and then I'll show you how to pot these off. All I do with it, I tip the whole tree out and I can just divide it up into clumps, and rather than put 1 or 2 plants, I like to put a nice clump in 3 or 4, and it makes a much better display in your garden, far much better. But this has been outside, it's been raining for the last hour, but it's not bad in here. It's about 50-55 in here. What I've got on the top here, I've got sprouts, cabbage, savoy, celery, and they're just coming through there, just popping through. These have just been completely cold. There we are, there's a cabbage. They're completely cold. I sowed these last week at the end of February, which is fine for me. Just let them grow away nice and slow, and they'll be ready for potting off in about a fortnight's time, which gives us, the middle of March. Put them up in the trays or little small cups, and they'll be ready for planting out at the end of April. 4 or 5 weeks in their pots. And of course I've been getting there from my lovely daughter's been selecting us the cups from where she works, and these are cardboard cups, so they're absolutely fantastic. Bit of hole in the bottom, cabbages will go in there, or tomatoes will go in there, and then they can be planted straight in the ground. Don't have to knock them out, just plant them straight in the ground, and no root disturbance whatsoever. So I'll be trialing them this year, and we'll but that's way off yet. That's months away. That's April into May. Now we're going to start sowing about 6 different varieties of tomatoes, and I'll show you the easiest ones and the better ones, depending on where you live, what your temperatures are like, and what your conditions are like out in the garden. Glass greenhouse, polythene greenhouse, outside. You can't grow tomatoes outside, I've shown you. Ailsa Craig's one of the best ones for growing outside, but you've got to be a little bit careful with them. You've got to be, get your timing right. I'll not sow my outdoor tomatoes till about mid-April. Plenty of time, and then you're not planting them out until June, the end of June, when it starts to warm up, especially up north here, because we can get snow in July up here, but hopefully not this year. But so far we haven't done too bad. It's been cold, but as I say, I've had nothing to really worry about. No show onions this year, no show leeks. As I say, I normally have the heating on from December onwards for them, but nothing. Even me chrysanthemums are just sitting in the cold greenhouse. My poor lemon tree here had a right battering, and of course that was down in the polytunnel, and the frost had getting through with holes in the roof. We've still got one to repair. We've done one, and we've still got one to repair, but we're leaving that until April. But my poor lemon tree was hammered, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to let it die right back, let the leaves die back, and then I'm going to cut it back where the frost hit, and hopefully I'll get the new plant growing through again for next year. But we'll all get caught out at times, so I'm not going to worry about that. Right, off we go. Sowing time, I love it. And of course, if you remember last year when I was collecting the seed heads, there's one marigolds, absolutely thousands of them, and all free. And all I had in the back garden was about 6 clumps of marigold dotted around, spotted in different locations, and just one by one just pick the heads off. And this is the little variety, the dwarf variety. It's Naughty Mariette. I've had it for absolutely years, and it never fails to give us first class. So if you want to collect your own seed, well worth doing. Saves you a few bob at the end of the day. So we've got a tray. We've got a tray of compost. It's half inch from the bottom of the tray. And then all we're going to do, we're going to broadcast. And of course, broadcasting is just sprinkling over the top. And all I do is take a pinch like that, and there must be a couple of hundred seeds in there, and I'm just going to work my way around. I'll get 6 trays like this, and then I'll put some individuals into pots that I'll grow on for myself. But these will all be potted off. There's not much difference in the growing. I'll just take a few and go. Not to be too greedy. I was just giving you a good idea of what my tree is like. There we are. So it's well soaked underneath. And of course, don't forget the old cam mail. Doesn't matter what seeds are sown. Seeds go in, and just an easy nice sown, nice drenching of chamomile tea over the top of them. Now all I'm leaving now is a 1/4 inch of compost just on the top. I've got my very fine sieve that I use. The one, just a level of compost over the top, and I'll get 6 trays on the tray here. The trays I'm using on the bottom, they've got no holes in them. All I have to do is water the bottom of the tray. I've got newspapers on the bottom. Once again, just acts like a sponge. Put 6 trays in there, and all I have to do is water the big tray, and the whole lot will be watered from underneath. I always water from underneath, even up the allotment. Down home, everything gets watered from underneath. I use special trays. They're all different sizes of trays without little holes in. I can stand pots in there, pour the water in. Great believer in that. So that's that. That's our marigolds. They're well away. I'll be starting the missing Bryanthemum, the Livingston Daisy. I'll probably do that next week in the next week's video. But I thought I'd just crack on the day and get the marigolds in. As I say, I've started with the cabbage, the sprouts, the collies, they're all in. I'll probably make another sown around the middle of April with the late cabbage and the red cabbages. But for the time being, I'm getting them in. I'm quite happy with that. But marigolds, cold greenhouse, no problem. Get them in here and they'll grow away nice and slow. You will have a few weeds going through in this because it's my own soil. It's a soil out the boxes, so you will have a few weeds. As I say, if you're just learning, if you're just starting off, best to know your weeds from your seeds. You will get it eventually, and then you can just you can plod on through that. The reason, as I say, the reason I use my own mix for the likes of these seeds is that they're quite big seeds. They're easy to handle, and once they come through, you know what they are. You know what marigolds are. You know what dahlias look like. But for the people that are just starting off, if you don't know what they look like, your seedlings, and then you'll start learn, and then you can just pull the weeds out. But like the lobelia, petunias, they're a bit more finicky, and I just use a nice clean compost with that. Just ordinary compost, multi-purpose with a bit added grit. Always add me extra sand, sharp sand, or perlite, and make it a really nice really light drainage, so you can just stick your trays in water and it'll soak it up just like a sponge. Fantastic. Or just pour your water into the tray and it'll take it up, water from the bottom at all times. Now another thing I'll point out, or one last thing I'll point out, I've got my watering can in here. I've always got it in here in the greenhouse. So, well, I've got 2 actually. There's my 2 greenhouse watering cans there. Now, if you're starting off seedlings, do not take water from your water butts. I keep telling this to people every year. You're going to have your water butts have lined all winter, even in the greenhouse. If you've had water line in the greenhouse for a few months, it's going to be full of pathogens. You're going to have a slime on the top. You're going to have molds, funguses, anything growing in it. And that's the last thing you want to do is water your compost with that. So if you're sowing inside, take your watering can and go to your nearest tap where you're on your allotment, or if you're having to bring water, by all means, make sure you bring nice clean water from your home in your watering can and then water your plants with that. Otherwise, you're giving them a really bad start. You water almost stuff out your butts, and within days you'll start seeing lichens, mosses, green slime appearing on the top of your compost, and that's the last thing your little seedlings want, is to have to force their way through and having to start putting up with that. So nice clean water, as I say, these couple of little tips for starting off. Nice clean water, water your compost with that. Chamomile tea, I've used it for years, and I always like to put especially with my own seed I'm saving, Always like to give it a good dose of that, and the properties in the chamomile tea absolutely marvellous, and it just keeps them nice and clean, and it stops any fungus and any viruses getting onto them, and it just keeps the seeds nice and clean, and it gives them a really good start, and it's cheap enough. One tea bag, a chamomile tea bag, you can make a litre of boiling water over night time. I'll probably show you how to do it later on. As with all my sprays, rhubarb, I'll be starting off with different bits and pieces later on and show you how we combat pests and or most of the pests. We're pretty organic up here. We like to grow everything, as I say, naturally, but judging by the shops and that, the last few months horrendous. So we'll get on home, and I'm going to start off a few tomatoes, and I'll just show you a few tips, as I say, exactly the same as showing marigolds, as sown marigolds. We'll do it with small pots, small amounts of seed, different varieties, and we'll get them set away. They're on a little bit of heat, and there'll be a plastic cover over the top of them. So once again, it's giving your plants humidity and a little bit of warmth, just to gently ease them through. I don't want to force them through. Never force any of my plants. Just take it nice and easy. So as I say, this rain eases off. As I say, for St. David's Day, it's what can you expect? March. Normally it's snow or blowing a hole up here, but it's quite nice. It's quite comfortable inside of here. I've got me jogger top on, so the missus will not balkers when I get back home. But anyway, it's a start for the new year, 2003. And let's hope we have a cracking new year. As I say, once again, thanks for everybody that's commented on the pages over the last few months, wondering where I've been. Carl Nolan, he's always been on to us. Well, Carl, we're up and running again, mate. As I say, I'm going to crack on with my tomatoes when I get back down home, and I'll show you how to get your first class crop, as you normally do. Carl runs Silver Gardens Breweries down home where he lives, and he's got the 4B's gardening pages. Anybody interested, just check it out online. And I'll be posting this one online and hope to keep up with your viewers over the next couple of months. Okay, so for the time being, thanks for watching. I'll get myself way down home, and we'll get this video finished off, and hopefully we'll get it online tonight. Okay, bye for now. Right, okay, we're off again. Right, back home now. Only difference is, got my cap on. It's a little bit chilly down here. I took my woolly hat off because it's not blowing a gear like it was up the plot. So managed to get down here. It's nice and snug in here. Temperature is 58, and that's with just my little warming cable. I don't know if you see it down on the bench here. That's my little warming bench. It's all I've got on there. I built that myself a couple of years ago. Just a bench. It's about 6 inches deep. They've got sand right way through it. Good sharp sand, and my cable runs all the way through that, so it keeps it nice and warm. It's as I say, it just gives that little bit of heat, and that's all I'm going to need today. Of course, I've already started, and when I sow my tomatoes, I don't sow them in trays. You can't sow them in trays. Depends on how many you get in a packet. I like to use little pots like this. Main thing about tomatoes, I never put them off at the 2-leaf stage. No, and over the years I've learned different seedlings. If you let them get a nice root ball on first before you transplant them, it's less of a shock. And I've always says that with tomatoes, exactly the same thing. Sow your tomatoes and let them get into a good size before you decide to put them off. And my way of doing it is, I say, I put them in a small square pot like this. And I've already started with one of my mainstead tomatoes. Moneymaker I grow every year, and of course Alicante I grow every year. My Spanish tomatoes I grow every year. Shirley I grow about 6 varieties. Gardener's Delight, that's another one, another great one. And of course my favourite, Ailsa Craig, for outside. Now the Ailsa Craig I'll not be sown until, as I say, the middle of April, middle of April, and they'll be ready to plant out in June, end of June, which is fine. It's up north here. But I started with these, of course, the Alicante, and look at your seed count, see what you've got in your packet. on here is 75. So I'll spread them out in my hand and get about 15, 16 per pot. And that's what's in there. And of course, the large Spanish, once again, I'm going to do exactly the same with them. I'm just going to knock out about 15, 16. You know, you give yourself an idea of what you've got in your hand, and there's ample there. And then just sprinkle them over your pot. And what that'll do, that's fine, put them on there. And what that'll do is when they grow through, it'll give them a really good chance to get a decent size. The two leaves, once they're opened up, as I say, I never put off at the seedling stage, never have done. Always like you get my plants a little bit meaty before I shift them on. But they'll grow great, and of course all they need now is just a handful of the same mixture, and this is just multi-purpose compost with a handful of sharp sand and a handful of vermiculite, and that keeps it there. That keeps it really free draining. Perlite, vermiculite, whatever you want to use, and that's it. And that's my tomatoes, and that's how I set mine off. And it's fine in here. It's warm enough. The temperatures are not going to drop till below 45, 50 of an evening when it gets cold with that little heat bed running there. As I say, I haven't got any. I've got a tubular heater down below. I've not had that on this here. I've kept it off altogether. There's my tray there. Now this has got holes in, and that's sitting on top of the heat bed. So the pots are inside of there. What I'll do is I'll put a sheet of newspaper. I'll put a sheet of newspaper in there, and a little bit of sand on the bottom just to level that out. And them pots will stand in there. And then the propagator top, which is there, I'll go on top of there. I can get that open so I can get my fingers in. And they're great little propagators like that, and they raise the temperature by a good couple of degrees. So as I say, it's sitting on the heat bed, so that the heat's going through there into there, and it's going to keep them really snug as a bug. So that's the tomatoes. That's them set away. Quite happy with that. Quite happy with them. As I say, everything else will be. I'll wait until the end of this month into next month. Cucumbers. I've set a few peppers away. I like to set them away a little bit early because you need a decent sized plant for planting out. So they're away now. They're on the heat bed at the back there, and be a couple of weeks before they start poking their way through. And I do exactly with them. Wait until I get a decent size before I move them onto a potting size. But they'll be great. But as I say, the sun's just coming over the roof there now. I don't get any sunshine at all in December, November, with my house facing south, and I'm in the back here. And of course, I don't get any sunshine till March. I get a little bit between the houses of a morning, and then of an afternoon at 2 o'clock when the sun just clears that roof, I get 3 or 4 hours. But in midsummer, fantastic. I get it when the sun rises. I get it all day from 8 o'clock in the morning till 8 o'clock at night, which is fine for me. But as I say, it's this video is all about just get myself started, get myself worked in. The greenhouse is all ready. It's all prepared. Been making me compost up, so I've got plenty of compost ready for potting off. And then hopefully I'll start each week. We'll go through it. I know there's a lot of people been wondering where I've been for a few months. Well, as I say, I've had a bit of a bad turn, but I'm biting now. I'm back to square one. I'm not as fit as what I was, but I'm just taking my time. As I say, that big back fence that I built over there was a doing of me, cementing them posts in and blah blah blah. But I've just got to take my time. As I say, I get my little bits and pieces done in the greenhouse. Roger's got all the garden turned over. That's all ready. All the beds are prepared. So we might even start off with some tatties in a fortnight's time. We've got early tatties in. We've got our Jap onions in. So what we'll do next week, I'll take you up the plot and maybe show you a few of the plants in the polytunnels. There's still got a lot of polyanthus, pansies and that in there. They've managed to grow great over the winter. Really nice, some really nice plants up there. But I'll do a full video next week, and we'll have a good walk around, and I'll show you what we're going to prepare for this year. But as the seedlings goes, we'll take it step by step. We'll just plant what's ready when they're ready, and we'll just we'll show you the easiest way to go about it, and just follow a few of our tips, and you'll get some fantastic veg and some nice fruit for the coming season. And you don't have to pay the prices that the shops are charging now. I never buy tomatoes out of season anyway. I wouldn't thank you for them. They're hard, they're tasteless, and they're just well, kind of beat your own, homegrown. So we'll see you again next week. See if you want to catch up with me. I'll be putting this up on my YouTube channel. I haven't done a video for about 9 months, so I've dropped out of the YouTube, but I'm going to repost it back on. But as I say, this will go up on my Facebook page, which is Jeff Foreman on the Plot. If you want to follow her, if you want to send her a friend's request, by all means, do it on our Facebook page, and keep in touch. Hopefully, we'll do a video every week, but we'll as I say, we'll do it as the summer progresses, as it gets a bit warm out and get out and about, and I can show you what we're up to and what we're going to be doing the following week. So for now, anyway, I say I'm back home. I'm going to play around with these little tomatoes, get a half dozen pots done, half dozen varieties in, and then we're well away, and I'll just show you how they're. As I say, don't forget, use the same tricks as what I did up the plot. Got exactly the same down here, chamomile tea. The seeds will get a good soak with that. Fresh water, always, even down here in the plot. There's me. I've just brought that down this morning. That's fresh water from out the kitchen. Never use anything out of the tanks. Or right in the summer when the plants are up and growing, water out of the tanks, but never water when you're at the seedling stage, because seedlings, they find it hard enough to get through without you putting any extra things against them, like say mold and mildews and as I say, pathogens, and it just damages seedlings to no end. So as I say, always use fresh water. Just a couple of tips for the first video. I say follow her every week, and we'll keep you updated on what we're doing. Okay, so for the first one from the plot, or from back down home now, thanks again everybody, and I'll see you all next week. Okay, bye for now.